Live right here to end out this Monday and our final segment here on the early line on SportsGrid. We start, sadly, with some news around basketball legend, NBA Hall of Famer Dikembe Mutombo. He has sadly passed away at the age of just 58 years old following a battle with brain cancer. The eight-time NBA All-Star, the Hall of Famer. He has won Defensive Player of the Year 4 times. One of the legends of the game, known for wagging the finger when he would block a shot, and a really, really great humanitarian around the sport and around the world, has sadly passed away at the age of 58, again, following a battle with brain cancer. Sad news in the basketball and sporting community. Now, as we look back on the weekend that was in college football, you mentioned, or you heard Donnie and I mention it in our breakdown and our recap of the game of the year in Tuscaloosa between Alabama and Georgia, a game that we hyped up with a ton of excitement and atmosphere that matched the occasion. And that's a beautiful thing on Saturday. A tale of two halves. Alabama off to a very early lead, 28-zip, scoring a touchdown on each of its first 4 opening offensive possessions. But then you saw the resilience of a Kirby Smart Georgia team. They didn't run away. They didn't back down from the challenge, albeit inside Bryant Denny. They were down 18, 35, 33-15 entering the fourth and final quarter. Scored on 3 consecutive possessions. Took the lead with 2.5 minutes remaining, only for some poor tackling and Ryan Williams' brilliance for Alabama to win the game 41-34. There are times, I think, where you could look at that game and question if either of the two teams are tops in the country. But I think your overall assessment should be both of these teams are 2 of the 5 best, 2 of the 3 best, 2 of the 2 best teams in college football this year. And we made this point a few times at the end of a season ago. This was just the 3rd regular season matchup between the Bulldogs and the Tide since the start of 2015. But we had seen them meet 3 times in the postseason prior to Saturday night since the start of 2021. Twice in the SEC championship game, once in the national title game. And because of Alabama knocking off Georgia in an upset last year in Atlanta in the SEC championship game, it was the Crimson Tide onto the college football playoff. Georgia left on the outside looking in. Some would tell you, what do you need an expanded college football playoff for? That was a playoff game for a conference championship at stake. And I understand the argument. But now in the regular season, did you feel as though the significance was diminished on Saturday watching that thrilling game? Did you feel as though, hey, what a great game I watched for 3.5 hours, but it didn't really matter, did it? Did you feel that? Obviously, the answer is a resounding no. The game was important. The game was significant. The game was masterful. The game was magnificent. And we are going to see both of these teams still have an outstanding opportunity to qualify for the college football playoff and have the chance to compete for a national championship. That is the beauty of the expanded college football playoff. And that did not leave us on Saturday night watching that game. Georgia last year, when being left out of the CFP, had lost 1 football game in its last 30 by a field goal and a conference championship against Nick Saban and Alabama. There's a really good argument to say that Georgia was the best team in the country last year and never had a chance of winning the national title beyond that conference title matchup. That's no longer the case. We knew there was going to be movement. How drastic the movement from the odds perspective, that was the question following the result on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Alabama is now the national championship favorite at plus 370, closer to a 7-1 price on the Crimson Tide entering that matchup. The Crimson Tide also now ranked atop the country as the number 1 team in the AP poll. Plus 370 the price for Alabama. Ohio State, 10 cents back at plus 380. Texas, 3rd best number at 5-1. But look at Georgia, plus 550. We have seen the Bulldogs get as low as plus 270, plus 280 to win a national championship this year. The preseason favorites who had the market worked against them ever so slightly after the narrow win in Lexington now 2 Saturdays ago, or 3 Saturdays ago. But they are not now 50-1 or plus 55-1 or even 10-1 or 15-1. They have an accurate price to win a national championship at plus 550. the odds will tell you what we saw on Saturday was a matchup and a brilliant football game between two of the four best teams in the country, at least in hopes of winning a national championship. And that is a good thing for college football. The early line returns tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern, here on SportsGrid.